Hey, this is Snuck versus East. East. Another TVP. My guess is that you're not going to do the build, because the last two TVPs I watched, you didn't do the build. But we will see. We will give you the benefit of the doubt. In general, if you missed workers before 6 minutes, you should throw the replay in the trash. So let's fast forward to 6 minutes and see if you missed workers, because if you did, then there's no point in watching the rest of it. You can't have a big enough army if you don't have enough money, and you can't have enough money if you don't have enough workers, and you know, it's like one stems from the other, and so on and so forth. So let's look just straight 6 minutes, bro. Do we have 24 workers? And we do not. We have 22 workers, almost 23, so don't miss workers. I feel like not watching the rest of the game now, man. This is the third game you've sent me that didn't have you hitting the worker benchmark, and that's one of the rules. You can't send me games unless you hit worker benchmarks. It's against the rules. And the reason you missed workers, if you want to see, just click on this command center and fast forward. Boom, camera lock, camera lock. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, we gotta select it. So this should always have, after it orbitals, wait till it orbitals, wait till it orbitals. Actually, you already missed a little bit of workers there because you canceled them in order to be able to afford your bunker. And now, from now on, it should always have at least 2 workers, if not 3, queued up. Go. One. You just missed a little bit of a worker there. Hey, this is good. You're doing good. Doing good. Oh, you're missing workers. You're missing workers. You're looking at a Hellion. You're not looking at your CC, and you're missing workers. You're missing workers right now. And you have $200 and 100 gas in the bank. So if you'd queued up to 3 workers, you would still have 150 minerals in the bank. You'd still have plenty of minerals to do what you wanted to do, but you wouldn't have missed workers. So you were moving a Hellion, you missed workers. Right now, you're looking at your front. You're not even doing anything. You're just looking at your front. You get your rack selected, and you're just looking. You're like, hey, how's it going, front? And you're missing workers. Missing workers. Missing workers. Missing workers. So, again, you queued up to 2 and you missed. Queued up to 2 and you missed. You queued up to 2 and you missed. You know what you got to do when you're queuing up to 2 and missing? Queue up to 3. And then if you're queuing up to 3 and still missing, queue up to 4. And if you're queuing up to 4 and still missing, queue up to 5. You know, you got to work your way down the ladder, but you always got to queue up enough workers so that you never miss any of them, because that is so much more important than anything else in the entire world. That you'll do better. You'll do better if you just don't miss workers. So I think the problem is that you started off with 3 and then you said I think I can get by with 2, and then you did 2 and you found that you were really good at not missing workers when you only have 2. And you're like, good, I'm going to stick with 2. I think 2 is the right number. And then for a long time, I would say the percentage of this game where you were successfully queuing up 2 workers and doing a great job with it is like 85%. Most of the time, you're doing great. You're queuing up to 2, queuing up to 2, queuing up to 2, and it's fine. You know, you're making workers at a reasonable rate. The real problem comes in whenever you look at other stuff. So you look at the front, you miss workers. You look at a Hellion, you miss workers. So you really got to either... there's no either or about it. You got to queue up to 3. Stop queuing up to 2. This is ridiculous. Look at that. You're missing just because you looked at a Hellion for 1 second. You looked at the front for 1 second, miss workers. Looked at the front, missed workers. Missed workers. For no reason. You were staring at your command center and you missed workers. Missed workers. Missed workers. Missed workers, 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 missed workers. Now we're making workers again. So we know how to check the benchmarks, and we know that we're going to miss them, and we know why we missed them, and here we go. So we look, it's 3,200 plus siege is done. So we have 3,400. We missed by 100. This is actually far better than the previous game, but if you realize that you're 6 workers behind, the fact that your army is only $100 behind is masking the fact that your economy is also $600 behind. So you're behind by like a total of 600, but your army itself is only behind by 100. So this was a lot better than the other game, at least. At least you have a big army. At least you didn't get double gas too early and get your factory super late and not have any units. So let's see how this goes. The other problem that we've been looking at a lot is the passivity fail and pulling too many workers, right? If you cut this many workers if you only have 32 workers when you push out, then pulling 16 of them will leave you with almost no workers left. You'll have 8 workers mining minerals, and 8 workers mining minerals means you lose, right? Basically. I like your positioning. I like that he didn't try to delay your push. You're down here just sieged up. I'm kind of worried that he can... His army is a lot smaller than yours, but without SCVs here to soak up damage and repair your tanks and banshees, I feel like even with this much bigger army, I'm still worried for you. So remember, what do we do with our army when the fight starts? So you're moving your tank up. That tank is basically dead because you decided to move him up. I'm not saying it was a bad decision to move him up, but right now he decides to engage. This tank is right here. That tank is dead. There's no SCVs here. He can't take damage. The thing is, this army is super low health, super high damage. Banshees 52 health per dollar, tanks 58 health per dollar, Marines are 90, but you don't have very many of them. It's just 16 Marines, practically no Marines. So the really heavy Banshee tank composition, SCVs are what makes this a viable composition. Without SCVs, this is a crap composition. This is a no hit points composition that he'll just instantly kill. And your income from this moment on is not relevant because after this fight, the game will be over. You know, there might be a couple more engagements, but we're going to decide who wins it or loses this game right here. When this fight happens, whoever wins it by a mile is going to win the game. So, very wisely saying, oh, I remember that I'm not supposed to let zealots hit my Marines, and you run those away, that's fine, but then you run them back in, and you're like, actually, I think I should let them hit my Marines. And so your Marines basically don't shoot during the entire engagement. You kind of grab your Banshees, but you don't do anything with them, and your tanks just all get steamrolled. So we've been in the unit map tester together with this exact Protoss composition versus this exact Terran composition, and you should know by now that the only way that Terran composition beats that Protoss composition is with repair. You need the SCVs, you need them to repair. You can't win that fight the way that you fought it. So not surprisingly, you lost this game because of that. So yeah. So you know, do the build perfectly, but I don't even think that's why. I don't think you did poorly enough in the build that was relevant to why you lost this game. Although you did do somewhat poorly, you did well enough that you still would have beat him because you had a $4,200 army versus his $3,500 army. You had a bigger army than him. Right here. Fast forward to when the engagement actually happens and check the army size. Check the army size. Alright, so right now you have 4,000, he has 3,300. He has no completed upgrades, so you are way ahead. You win this fight hands down, no questions asked, not even a difficult fight, if the entire choke is clogged with auto-repairing SCVs and you focus fire the tanks onto the stalkers and sentries. So what to do in the battle? The SCVs should already be in the front. They should already be auto-repairing. First thing you do, grab everyone and attack, move the ground right there. Second thing you do, hold down control and click on the tanks, and then right-click the sentry, shift, right-click, and then grab the Banshees and focus fire the sentries and then the Immortals, and then figure out who he's shooting at, which Banshee he's shooting at, and pull it back, then pull this guy back, then pull that guy back. And then, you know, so basically you never touch the Marines. The Marines, from the beginning, should be in a good enough spot that you don't need to touch them. So the SCVs should be in front of the Marines, blocking off this ramp, and then the Marines can be behind the SCVs in the ramp. Then all you got to do is make sure that the tanks don't splash your own SCVs, and you just win that fight, and hands down. And if you want, we can totally check this. 13,242 against 20,235. 2,351. This Raven is a big mistake, by the way. I've said repeatedly that Ravens are just as good as Banshees, and you should always feel free to replace a Banshee with a Raven. But what I meant by that was that as long as you're not going to be fighting for a good 2 minutes, you can always feel free to replace a Banshee with a Raven. Because Ravens are entirely energy dependent, and if the final fight of the entire game, the last battle you're ever going to care about, is happening right now, that's not when you want a Raven, because he's not even going to be useful until he gets 100 energy. So, yeah, you want to go like Raven Banshee Banshee or Banshee Raven Banshee, but after your second area unit, you're no longer allowed to make Ravens. They're not, unless he's going DTs specifically. So yeah. Oh, I need pencils. No, notepad. 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 13Z2I4S2 Sentry. 2 Hellion, 3 Banshee, 5 Tank, 20 Marines, and I'm not going to count the stupid Raven because let's say he has enough for 2 auto turrets. So we'll do that. And then we're going to go in here. So to restate, I don't know. I won't say anything. I'll just be super quiet, you guys. You can just fast forward until the fight starts. Fast forward. 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 Maybe we should bring you into this. I don't know. You look AFK. That's what that orange circle means, is that you're AFK. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm trying to fast forward. That's funny. So, 13 zealots. What the hell? What the hell? Why is it lagging so much? 2 sentry, 4 stalker, 2 immortal. And then Terran, this is so laggy. Has 2 Hellion, 3 Banshee, 5 Tank, 20 Marines. That's an awful lot of tanks, man. 3 Banshees, 1, 2, 3, and 2 Hellions, 1, 2, and Raven, and Terrain, and so this is what I said I wanted to have. Why is frickin' StarCraft going so slow? This is ridiculously slow. I don't know. I gotta Control Delete and find out. This is crazy. This is unreasonable. Unreasonable. Who's using my CPU? I gotta move him over to the second CPU. That's why. Come on, let me use enough CPU for the world. Alright, so first we do it the way you did it. Actually, one of these guys has to be dead. Oh, good. I guess auto turrets cost 50, so you only get 1. So, here we go. Boom! So Marines in front, no micro allowed, and you win. Isn't that cute? So your army beats his army even if you do nothing, as long as your tanks are far enough away and your Marines are on the ramp. And your Banshees are actually participating in the fight. Your Banshees weren't actually participating in the fight. And that's the 3rd time I've seen that happen, too. You're very fond of putting your Banshees off to the side, like thinking that they're going to die and being really scared of them and stuff. What the freaking chickens? Let me move stuff over. So if we don't fight on a ramp and we don't abuse the choke that doesn't allow Zealots to do any damage, which is what I did that time. I basically said, I'm going to put my Marines on the choke. Now the Zealots can't do damage. I win. And that's what you should have done. I mean, you had a choke. You should have used it. Now we're going to say, all right, but that's not fair because blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. You guys go over here, and you guys go down here, and you guys go here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and then we're going to say energy. It's not going to give me energy because it's broken, so I'm going to very slowly... Oops. Why is... Oh, I hate you. Alright, this is going to be the last one, because I cannot take how freaking laggy this is. So you had 3 tanks sieged up, but 2 of them not sieged up, right? And you had 1 auto turret, and then this guy doesn't get to play. And then these guys go in, and they just double Guardian Shield, and then you say, now I get to siege up, super late. And then just let everything happen all by itself. I'm not going to attack, move, or do anything. And you see that because you have 3 Banshees, you win this fight again. Like, he's got 4 Stalkers. That can't kill 3 Banshees. There's nothing he can do to kill your Banshees. So this fight is just like a win for you almost no matter how you do it. So it took a lot of doing for you to lose that fight. It took a lot of doing. So let's get rid of one of the Banshees, get rid of the Raven, because those guys hadn't caught up across the field yet. Maybe get rid of one of the tanks and 3 of the Marines, and go like this. Oops, terrain. Why did it switch back? God, I wish it would stop being so damn slow. Maybe that'll fix it. Field. Nope. I'm on the monkey. Now he gets to win. You know what the difference is? His zealots do damage, man. His zealots do damage. And stop freaking changing the terrain, you stupid thing. Anyway, I can't do this in this lag. So you're just gonna have to do it yourself. Go into the unit tester, figure it out. Stupid lag.